UFC 300 is just wrapped up, and what a successful night it was for the channel. 8 wins, 4 losses, and the ladder challenge cashed? I'll be taking that. But going into the first fight of the night, Davidson Figueiredo versus Cody No Love. I told you, don't bet on a Figueiredo knockout. Even though I think he's going to win the fight and it's not going to go the distance, he can easily get a submission. I mean, it may not have been easy, but he got the submission. Cody Garbrandt looked really good in this fight, but Davidson's skills are superior. He got a very slick takedown. He even got a tight arm triangle with good technique, but Cody No Love showed resilience and got out of it. Davidson managed to get a rear naked choke with a minute left in round number 2, and that was all she wrote. Next up, we have Bobby Green versus Jim Miller. What a performance by Bobby King Green. I know his hands are down. I know he got knocked down, but he pulled himself together and turned Jim Miller into Two-Face, putting on a striking clinic and winning the fight. Next up, we have Jessica Andrade versus Marina Rodriguez. And a lot of people picked Marina because she was the better fighter. She's definitely the slicker striker, landing some clean shots, but Jessica Andrade managed to get the fight down in the ground, get a lot of control time, and Marina had no answer for anything down there. Jessica Andrade even managed to land some very, very clean shots, hurting Marina and doing enough to squeak out rounds. So yeah, Jessica Andrade, yeah, she won by, I think it was split decision. Next up, we have Renato Moicano versus Jalen Turner, and what a performance by Renato Moicano. Yeah, he got hurt. Yeah, he got dropped in the first. When he managed to get the fight down to the ground, Jalen Turner had very little for him. Renato Moicano, great control time, landing some very, very strong ground and pound and getting his first KO finish. Moving on to the next one, we got Diego Lopez versus Sadiq Youssef. What a knockout by Diego Lopez. Clean uppercut. Sadiq Youssef had no answer for it whatsoever. Getting dropped not once, but twice. Diego Lopez is a guy to keep our eyes on. Next up was Kayla Harrison versus Holly Holm. I did a whole damn video on this one, but Kayla Harrison looked sensational. She took Holly Holm to the ground, controlled her. Yeah, Holly Holm was able to reverse the position in the first round, but Kayla Harrison did very well. And I believe the striking differential was 46 significant strikes for Kayla Harris and 0 for Holly Holm. That speaks for itself. That's Hamzat Chimaev type numbers. Second round, Kayla Harrison managed to get a rear naked choke submission. Next up, we got a fight that I got terribly wrong. Calvin Kattar versus Aljamain Sterling. Aljamain looked like a world beater in this fight. He is not. But in this fight, he definitely looked like one. Calvin Kattar was very fearful of the takedowns. Couldn't do anything whatsoever in terms of the striking to stop Aljamain from even shooting takedowns, and it was a boring decision. This is probably the most boring fight of the entire night. Next up, we have Yuri Prashka versus Alexandra Rakic. And boy, did Rakic look pretty good. The leg kicks were so slick, hurting Yuri multiple times in the fight with it, but Yuri's power, Yuri's durability, that stood through, and he managed to get a ground and pound finish in this fight, rocking Alexander Rakic. Even though Rakic may be the better fighter, Yuri is tougher, and Yuri's got that power to put the lights out. Next up, we got Bo Nickel versus Cody Brundage, and I mean, we predicted Bo Nickel to win. He took a lot longer than I thought, but that's because Cody Brundage was fairly stubborn when it comes to getting submitted. But Bo Nickel managed to get the hooks in the second round and secure a rare naked choke. Next up, we have Arman Tsarukyan versus Charles do Bronx Oliveira, and this fight was insane. People scored it all different kinds of ways. In the first round, Charles do Bronx got the tightest arm-in guillotine, and it's a miracle that Arman stayed awake for that, fought through it, and even managed to get into top position. However you choose to score it, whether you want to give it to Dubronx, whether you want to give it to Arman. It's up to you. I think the referee did a terrible job when Charles Oliveira landed an illegal illegal up kick when Arman was grounded, but we move on. I gave that round to Charles Oliveira. Second round, it was really easy to score that one. Arman dominated. And the third round, however you want to score it, it's debatable. I gave it to Arman. I know I bet on Charles Oliveira. I know I told you guys kind of to bet on Charles Oliveira. Sorry about that. But Charles almost caught him in a dart stroke in the closing seconds of the round. Arman managed to control him for the majority of the round, so I'm guessing the judges gave it to him based on that. Next up, we have the BMF title fight. Max Holloway versus Justin Gaethje. What a shutout performance by Max Holloway. In the first round, in the closing seconds of the first round, he landed a spinning back kick on the face of Justin Gaethje, breaking his nose, and that shifted the direction of the fight entirely. Yeah, Max Holloway would have won the first round even without it, but who knows, Justin Gaethje may have been able to catch wind later on in the fight and do more damage. Breaking his nose affected his movement. He kept touching his nose and it just made the fight a lot messier. Max gave him a shot to come back in the last seconds of the fifth round, pointing down to the floor and slugging it out, Ricardo Ramos versus Max Holloway style. Only this time, Justin Gaethje got floored with a right hand. With 1 second down on the fifth round, Justin Gaethje got knocked out cold and he was out for a while. Hopefully he recovers soon. Very questionable on what he wants to do with his career after, but I just hope he's okay at this point. Next up, we're going to the co-main event of the evening, the final part of the ladder challenge. Weili Zhang versus Yan Jianan. And in my opinion, Weili won this fight 3 different ways. He submitted her in the first. She TKO'd her in the second. I would not have been disappointed if Jason Herzog stopped that fight. And then she actually won by decision. That's as dominant of a performance as you can get in terms of winning. However, she did get knocked down twice. She was not looking good on the feet, but she managed to get some good takedowns, control time, ground and pound, had some really good submission attempts, and did enough to get a unanimous decision win. I would have only given 1 round to Yan Jianan, but it definitely wasn't as easy as the scorecards make it look. Weili was in trouble a lot of times. Next up, we got Alex Pera versus Jamal Hill. What a performance by Powhatan. Jamal Hill barely touched him in the entire fight. The cleanest shot he landed was a low blow. And then, Powhatan stopped the referee, landed his signature left hook, putting Jamal Hill down, finishing with ground and pound, and showboating. What more could we possibly want? Who knows what's next for Powhatan? Anyways, I've been that betting dude. This has been the recap for UFC 300, and I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, game time.